Hello friends, welcome back to my YouTube channel, and today we are going to discuss about Unix file management. So what basically is Unix file management? We'll discuss in this session today, and mainly we will focus on three types of basic files. Those are ordinary files, directories, and special files. Before going into depth of it, I would like to explain you why the file management is important, because whatever technical skills we are learning here, we are going to implement either in our day-to-day student life or in a corporate life, right? Like in an IT industry, what happens is we have multiple applications running. Okay, so let me give you one example. There is one application running, and what is possible that normally happens is there are multiple services, backend services are running. Those are installed on a Linux server or the Unix server. You got my point now. That is why, and all the log files, suppose there is some log file, some directory file, and could be database file, all those are being configured on the Unix server, and you need to troubleshoot something which your application has recently encountered. Okay, so whatever problem happens with your application functionality, those will be getting logged onto Unix server if the services configured is such that the log files getting written on the Unix server. Okay, in that case you will need to log into the Unix server. You will need to go to the Unix box. Okay, and then you will need to find out where is that log file getting written. Okay, and then you will need to figure out, you will need to do some operations to find out what is the exact error message, and you will need to figure out the problem with your application that is being facing, right? So in that case, there is a possibility where you need to perform your operation with the file. Okay, there comes a file management where you may need to copy the file from one place to another place. You will need to move the file. You will need to take a backup of your existing file or the log file. You will need to move that file from one server to the another server. So this is all comes under the part of file management, Unix file management. But before going into the depth, we should first understand the basics of it. Okay, now let me explain about the basic types of files and directories, yeah, whichever exist on the Unix box. So the first thing is ordinary file. What is the ordinary file? This is the file where the data, text, or program instructions being written. Okay, these are called ordinary files. What are the directories? Directories store both special and ordinary files. It is written on my screen also. I will explain it later on. So like we have directories, like we have folders on the Windows operating system, similar to that, we have directories on Unix operating system. So what does your folders contain on Windows box? Those contains the files, any special files that exist on the system. Similar to that, in Unix, directories exist, and directories contain the file and special files. Okay. The third type we are going to discuss right now is the special file. Okay. So some special files provides access to the hardware such as hard drive, CD drive, modem, Ethernet adapters. Okay, we are not going to discuss about that, but I will definitely discuss few special files that exist by the example I'm going to show you. So let me open my terminal to make it easier to understand for you. Okay, so this is my terminal, is the Sigwin terminal that I had installed earlier before starting making the video. Okay, I will also create one video on how to install this Sigwin on your Windows machine. This will help you operate or to use the Unix operating system, Unix terminal on your Windows machine instead of you having a full different setup, different laptop for Unix OS. So I will try to make a video and upload on how to install this. Okay, but today we are mainly focusing on to the basic operations of file management. Okay, now let me clear my screen and do this ls-lrt. We had discussed this in our previous session also, but today also I will explain about it in a bit so that you understand. Here, what we did is pwd is the basic uh, command to check the current path. Okay, so this is the current path where we are right now. We are under the C drive, C, users, del, desktop, and temp. And when I perform ls-lrt command, it will list out all the files, folders, or any special file, okay, that exists under this path. So right now we can see we have one file called file1-10.txt, file1.txt, 2.txt, file.test, file5.test. Okay, so how do we know which one is the ordinary file or which one is the directory and which one is the special file? So for your convenience, I have already made this type of files. So here you can we can see that this is the first column. Okay, this file contains 7 columns that I will explain to you after this. So this is the first column, second column, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, and seventh. Okay, so these are all seven columns that exist on our mm, this listing. Okay, when we perform the long list command, ls-l is called as long list. Okay, so here in the first column, when we see there is a dash. Okay, here I think you can see it on my screen. Okay, so when it starts with dash, this is called a normal file, okay, or ordinary file. Similar to that, we have this second file that its name is file1.txt. This is file2.txt, file 5.txt. These are all starting with the dash. Okay, yeah, so these are all ordinary files. And when you open it, let me open it, file 5.txt, you can see there is some instruction written in this file. There is some data, and that data says this is a test file. And let me tell you, because I have not explained it earlier, cat is the command that shows the data whichever is under this file. Okay, ordinary file. So let me open file 2.txt and see there is nothing under file2.txt because this is for only demonstration purpose. I have not written the content in all the files but under file 5.txt. Okay, so how can we see that? Let me clear out the screen and cat file 5.txt, which has the data. This is a test file. Okay, so this is the ordinary file. Let me show you the difference between ordinary file and a directory. Here you can see the D option, right? Here is this column has okay, so this column is starting with the D. Okay, that represents this is a directory. Okay, file dot test is a directory, and to be able to go to a directory we will need to navigate. Okay, let me file dot test. Okay, let me see if there is anything inside it. Yeah, so this is called the directory. File dot test is a directory, and under the directory we have a different file that is a ordinary file because it's starting with dash, and this represents the directory. Okay, like in Windows operating system we have folders, we have multiple files under one folder. Similar to that, we have a different file under file.test is a directory in Unix operating system. Okay, let me go back to one step, do pwd, and now we are again under the tramp. Okay, so let me perform ls-lrt again. So this is the directory starting with D. This is the ordinary file starting with dash. And do you see here anything difference? This is the file. Okay, this is not the file I will tell you, but this represents, it's starting with L. Okay, L represents a link. Okay, I will tell you what link it is. Okay, but this will be called as a special file. Okay, so let me open file 5.txt. Okay, and what does this have? This is a test file. Okay, now let me open the link. Okay, similar to file.txt, let me open the link. And what do we have? We have the same content that file 5.txt has. Okay, so we have the same content. Whatever is under file 5.txt can be read or viewed via using this link also. So what this link basically doing is this is a special type of file which is linking to file 5.txt. You see, you can see the full path where we are. Full path is temp, okay, C drive, C users, Dell, desktop, and temp, and then file 5.txt. And this is the same file location where we are. Okay, so this current is doing nothing but linking with file 5.txt. Okay, so this type of files are called um, special files. I think this makes sense to you now. So we can now distinguish between the ordinary files, directories, and link. Directories starting with starting with D, special file or link starting with L, and regular and ordinary files starting with dash. Okay, okay. So let me go to the next slide, and this is what we already discussed. This is ls. Ls is to list the file. Let me use ls option. So what is this doing is ls will list out all the files and directories whichever is there under the temp. Okay, but when we use ls-l, what this will do is it will give you a long list. Long list means we have some other options like whether to options to identify whether this is a file, this is a directory, or special files. Using by looking at the long list, we will be able to identify the type of files also. We will be able to identify these different options that we will discuss, but before going to that, let me use ls along with l and then r option. Okay, so what this r doing is this has just reversed your order. You see, when we only used ls-l, we have the first file in the list is this one, current. Okay, this is all in ascending order. But when we used r option, r, what r did is only this has reversed the order. You see here, so it will start printing the file which is starting with Z and then moving on to A. So that is the reason why we have C, current file starting with C at the end, because this is in descending order now. Now let me use -t option along with ls-lr. So what is this doing is this will print last modified files. Okay, so any latest file which is recently being modified will come at the bottom. Let me show you by one of the example. Let me create one file 6.txt. Okay, now you can see we already had file 5.txt, but we did not have file 6.txt. Now let me use ls-lrt. So what should this do is it should print file 6.txt at the bottom. Okay, let me check it. Yeah, we can see the same result. file6.txt is at the bottom. So this is very powerful command, and we normally use it to list all folders, files under the directory where we are, and to print the result depending upon our requirement. We can print in ascending order, we can print in descending order, we can only print a long list or only list when we don't require additional details like that. So let me move on to yes. So this is all. Now let me also tell you about meta character. Okay. Suppose what we are going to do here is, I'm sorry. Okay. Yeah. So suppose I am using ls-lrt. Okay. This is printing all the files, whichever is there under this current directory, but we don't want current. We only want file. Whatever is starting with file, we need those files. So let me use ls and then file star.txt. So basically here we are going to discuss about star and question mark. Star is nothing but asterisk, and the question mark also called as meta characters. So here star is used to match one or more character. Okay, so let me also delete this and see the result. You see here ls-l file and star. So whatever file names starting with file, you see the first starting character of the file should be file, and under this directory all the file names which are starting with file has been listed over here, and those contains all the files starting from 1 to 6 and this one also. Okay, so this is called the meta character. We use this to match 0 or more characters. Similarly, that asterisk, yeah, let me show you also with an example. ls and now file asterisk dot txt. So what this will do is this will find only for one character. Okay, this will print out all the file names which is starting with file ending with .txt and which has any one character that can replace the question mark. You can see here ls-l file asterisk dot txt. You see here 1, 2, 5 and 6. This is replaced by a single character 1, 2, 5 and 6. Okay, so this is used like that. It has printed all the files which has one character that has matched one character where we have used as question mark. Okay, so it has printed file 1.txt, file 2.txt, 5 and all this. Now let me use ls-l file star.txt. Okay, and see we have this result also. Okay, so what star is doing is star matching more than one character also. You see here in all these files, all the above files, we had only one characters 1, 2, 5, 6. But here we have multiple characters, and this is the beauty of using this star and asterisk. This will match more than one character. Anything starting with file, ending with .txt, and whatever comes in between, it will print that file. So this is called the meta character. Okay, so now let me explain about different columns that we discussed that is getting printed here. So first let me clear out the screen and perform ls-lrt. You can see here, really sorry about my throat. So we have a different columns here. This is the first column, this is the second column, third column, fourth column, fifth column, and this is the date and time for the sixth column, and this is the seventh column of the file name. So let me explain what these columns are. First column represents the file type we discussed already. Anything starting with this dash D or L demonstrating the different type of files. Okay, so this first column is used to identify the type of file and also the permission given on this file. Okay, so this thing up to here rw rr shows what kind of permission do have you given to the file. rw is means read write. R is for read. R is for read. So we categorize this into three uh, three types. One is this RW represents the owner's permission. This three set of next characters R dash dash. This represents the group's permission, and the last set represents any other permission. So on the owner of this file, the permission is read and write. So owner can read and write the files, but the group and other permissions has only been given a read only. So they can only read. They cannot modify the file. They cannot write the file. So this represents, we will also discuss in detail on file permission. How do we change the file permission and all in some other session. Definitely I will create one video on that. The next session is the block size that this file has taken on the memory. Third column represents the owner name, owner of the file, who has basically created the file. Fourth column is for the group name. You see here there is no group associated with Dell, but this is not the case when you work in a real time. One user is already been assigned to different groups depending upon their role. Okay, for example, in IT industry, there are different people in a company which has permission to perform different roles. Like there are some Unix administrators who will be the part of admin group also, right? But any other employee, and what will they do is they will add any user who has joined the company. They will remove any user who is leaving the company. So that is a kind of admin role. They will have the admin group permission also, right? For that, their user should have the group admin permission. So for that, the user will be assigned to the admin. But any other employee who has joined the company, they should not necessarily required the admin permission when they are working on some particular role or in a particular project where they need to carry out application based roles, right? So they will have a different set of groups. Okay, so this is the column that represents. Let me show that to you. Let me log into my Dell user and try to find out, do we have any group for the Dell? Okay, so let me list. Great, you can see here this Dell user is administrator also. What does that mean? Dell user is me, is my user only, and I am the administrator also because this is my personal laptop. I can make any changes I want to my computer, right? So that is what it is. Let me log out and then show it back to you. Okay, and the next column, this is the file size. Okay, this will demonstrate the file size, and this is the sixth column that shows the date and time when this file was created or the last modified. Like we saw in our example, we created file 6.txt earlier at 23:27 IST on 2nd October. Okay, that is today. And this is the seventh column that represents the actual name of the file. Okay, yeah, so this is all about 7 columns. This is showing the type of file and permission. This is memory block, owner name, group name, date and time when the file is created, and this is the file name. Okay, different file names. Now let me go to, okay, so this is the same thing that we discussed. First column represents the file type, second column represents the number of memory block, third column the owner of the file, fourth column represents the group of the owner, fifth the size, sixth date, and seventh file or directory name. Okay, so this is some basic file types representation that I would like to discuss with you, because by looking at this you will be able to figure out what type of file is that under the directory which we are looking. This one is for regular file, we discussed already. D is for directory, L is for symbolic link, P is for name pipe, S is for socket, C is for character special file, and B is for block input output device file. So you can read it more about it. And our main purpose here is to understand the different type of files just by looking at the prefix, and prefix can vary from dash to s, and it could be b, c, d, l, p, s. And after looking at the prefix we should be able to identify which type of files these are. Okay, so I would like to conclude today's session with this, and we will come back with, I mean, this is a long session, so we should be making more videos. And this was the part one. I will come back with part two and many more, so that we will learn more examples of file management and how we can be start from scratch and go into it into the depth. And you can also understand how it works in real time in any IT industry, so that you will have a real time example as well. So thank you so much. Thanks a lot, my friends. See you next time.